Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, making some really good trades. Let me turn off my there we go, my dimmer here for my eyes because I like to have a little clearer video when I do my analysis. So, wow, what a turn in the markets we got today. The SPY actually went back and re-entered the sell area that I had here. And it seems like it's like filling, some more. I mean, this one not filling some more gaps. I could say the Qs went up to fill the body gap, right? So some traders like to fill the gap at, excuse me, the wick, which is what we got yesterday, and today I guess we filled the gap on the at the body. But man, what a turn of events! Right now, looks like we're going to continue down most likely. The market cipher chart is not looking too hot for these indices. You got a blood diamond, still got red money flow. That is a extremely tight momentum wave on the 4 hour. Same thing on the all the indices. Kind of printed this today on this big down day. Not even sure what the news was. I'm not sure if it's Iran or if it's the yen or if it's the Nikkei. I don't know what it is, but it's not looking too hot, right? So the SPY looks like it wants to go down lower, and the target's all the way down here at 474. The Qs, it looks like look, this move from peak to trough, right? It looks big, and it is big because we gapped up today and we erased all the gains, right? All the gains were gone from yesterday. 3.33% or 3.26 from the peak all the way down. IWM, similar situation, like big gap open and then complete sell off. And, it's continuing down. It hasn't even hit my sell area, right? So I didn't short the IWM or the Qs or the SPY or the Dow Jones today. I'm still short the Qs actually. I haven't closed my short position. So I'm still holding short here from 474 on the SQQQ. But something that I did do today is I played the UVIX, right? So some of my members who are inside the Discord, I was actually looking for a trade on the UVIX, and once it hit $8 here, we hit $8. I decided to pull the trigger on it, and it played out quite well because we actually pumped up like 42% from the lows, and we hit. Let me see here. We hit like $10.40 at the close, so we're at 1040 or 1027. Sorry, but we're up in the after hours, and if this continues on and the markets bleed down, well, right now we're up because in the after hours they like to buy it up when there's no excess. There's almost no next to no volume. You can see at the close, right on this dip down, the market makers or the big money comes in and buys it up, and it continues to pump up into the open, and the open comes and then we completely sell off again. So it's just like we're just rinsing and repeating the cycle, but we'll see if it holds up overnight, because right now the futures, or I guess you could say the futures, they're not looking too hot, especially on the 4 hour time frame. We got 38 minutes to go. Bearish dual band strength index numbers. You got red money flow still. It's not as apparent on the futures. It's more like on the Oenda chart. You can see it a little bit better. But it's still diminishing. So again, we're in this bottoming process. The daily time frame is looking for a bottom on the S&P, the Russell. The S&P and the Nasdaq are looking for a bottom. The Russell 2000, I'm not so sure. The Russell is probably like the weakest one out of them all. And then we'll take a look at a few other things here. I'll just cover. Let me get back to my charts here. I'll cover some individual names. Scroll back down to NVDA. So NVIDIA is at 98 now. Continues to bleed lower. Looks like this ABC is done playing out, and we're gonna correct back lower. So if this is the case, we could continue lower. If it wants to double correct, it could also do that, and another double correction. But we'll see. It's not the semis are selling off again, and you guys know the saying, right? When the semis are strong, there's nothing wrong, but when the semis fail, you better bail. And again, the SMH, the semis are failing, right? They're failing miserably. It looks like there's almost no end in sight here, and it continues to go down. So, Michael Gay was right. The carry trade is affecting the market. He's been calling it for a while, so good for him. He finally got it. And he probably, had to endure a lot of people laughing at him for a while, but you got it right now. All right, let's continue. I'll take a look at Tesla. So Tesla. Uh, so I told you guys I wasn't looking for longs here anymore, even though we hit the buy area, because now we only have a three wave move up. And if we come back down, the next buy area is at 165 to 143. So we got more downside in Tesla. That's why I'm still looking for more downside in the Qs and everything else, because a lot of these tech stocks, they still have downside set up inside them, right? So you still got downside there. You got downside coming in, I believe Amazon. Amazon needs to go. It's actually possibly impulsing here in a four wave move if one wants to make a lower low with bullish divergence. Then you have a 1-2 setup, and now you finish the cycle out for Amazon. Apple hit the buy area, but we'll see if it can hold up. If it comes back down and retests it and breaks the low, then what you have is the bigger connector, and it's going to go much lower. And you know what? Maybe it's all said and done for Apple, and it's going to come back down with the markets as well. So the markets are in a very bearish state. It's very dangerous to try and buy the dip and hold and hope for the best. It's a very tough thing to do right now, especially as you guys could probably tell. Oh, I buy the dip, that the low is in, and then we rally up. Oh yes, confirmation, 3%, and then today shits the bed and you're back to zero, right? And the after hours we're actually down 1%. So what happens if we gap down and we take out this low? If we gap down and the future puke overnight, and we take out this low and we break it and we continue lower, then you're gonna see a lot of people panic sell at the open. There's gonna be a big flush out probably until, like I said, 409 on the Qs, the SPY, maybe all the way down to 473 again. My God, that's a big trip. 8% down on the SPY. Oh, I guess it's pretty similar on the Qs. It's also 5 to 8%. Maybe and if it breaks this low, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know if you break this this final area of support here, which can go all the way as low as 46. Then I don't know what to tell you. I think you may at that point you may have a market crash scenario in place, and you can no longer make it a 4. It's too big, and it could get out. It could spiral out of control, right? So that's why I'm not in longs right now. I got out of my longs 3-4 weeks ago at the highs here. I said, okay, you know what? It's not a bad idea to shave some profits in a fifth wave of the third wave. And if we do hold this area, then we can still bounce back up to a new all-time highs. We can. It's possible, right? So you don't think it's all over just yet. Although I'm getting bearish now because we're in a downtrend, and it's paying obviously clearly to be bearish. We got UVIX paying out big, we got the SQQ paying out big, and all these trades are paying out big time. But you just gotta know where you are in the cycle. And if we get back down here, and I see tons of buying, a support, a good low is made on the daily, the 2-day, whatever, then at that point, okay, I'm ready to nibble on some long positions, and I'll get long. All right, I keep going off the individual names. Like I can't stay focused. Let me take a look at AMD. Where is AMD at? So AMD is kind of in this 1-2 setup, and it looks like it's getting ready to puke down again. So again, if the semis continue to puke down, the tech sector is not going to do good. It's just not, because there's just so many semis are so sky high here. They all look like they're getting ready to puke lower. And right now, that's kind of like the setup that I have. What do I have here on AI? I don't think I've done AI. I think I did C3. Where is C3? C3. Oh, maybe that is AI. C3 AI. Yeah, no, okay, that is C3. Have I done it before? No, I think I did Palantir. How's Palantir doing? I haven't taken a look at that chart in a while. Okay. Well, I had this as an ABC. Looks like it did an overshooting B wave. And let me see. Let me take a look at the larger time frames. Peaked. Okay, got some bearish divergence. Look at the weekly. Oh you could have done an extension of the fifth wave as well. Three on the daily. Was that the three? All you have is all you have here is an extended fifth wave. That's just really, it could be just an extended fifth wave, and now you're correcting in an ABC. You could have done ABC right there. You could have done an ABC right there. Whoops. Now it's getting ready to rip lower. Now it should be done. Right? So anyways, let's continue on. Let's take a look at PayPal. Haven't done PayPal in a while. Take a look at PayPal here. All right. Whoops. It seems to be holding its 1-2 setup, but again, it needs to take off now, or else it's this whole thing is just a chop, and it's a connector, and it's gonna go lower. So again, it's still an okay setup, but just know you have to stop out past 56.91 or 50, or the last low here, 57.20. Okay. Let's take a look at the TLT. So the TLT was a dip buy for us today, and looks like it held up. It did break the low, but again, the TLT is off the bond. So again, if you're charting the yields are pretty much set to go lower here. And maybe when the bonds go lower, the markets will go lower too. So that's kind of been the trend, right? The yields puke lower, and the markets go lower. So if we're gonna get a pop, it's gonna be tomorrow, and the TLT should gap up and then continue up in this third wave. Once this is done, then you get a larger pullback in a 4 or sideways consolidation, triangle. Who knows? We can't predict the future, how the charts are gonna play out. And then you get more upside, and then more upside, and then another pullback, and then more upside again to finish off the larger move in 110, 111, 116. That's where I'm gonna sell my TLT. And I'm actually in TMF, not TLT. So TMF may have been a dip buy today, and you should continue up tomorrow. Let's cover some other stuff. Talk about the dollar. So the dollar should be reversing down as well here. And then 4. So if the yen pushes up, then maybe the DXY is going to puke down, right? And then that's just going to show yen strength, which is bearish for the market. It's bearish for the Nikkei. And the Nikkei right now is in a bad spot. You got the Nikkei up here. The Nikkei should go down. The Nikkei should continue down in this wave 3. Could have truncated to finish this impulse, and now it's gapping lower today. And it's looking bearish on Market Cipher as well, right? The 1 hour time frame is looking pretty not too good. You got a red dot, -5, or sorry, it's 15 and a -3 on the dual band strength index. But we'll see. I think the smaller time frames are trying to hold up, if I'm not mistaken, like the 12-minute or something. Still green money flow. And the daily is trying to bottom too. The daily's got a green dot. So if this holds up and we bounce back up, and the Nikkei bounces up, the markets can bounce back up. The markets can continue higher. All right? Let's see if they can. And if they can, if you finally find a low at these levels, then what you have maybe is I can't really make 5 waves here. The peak has no divergence, so that's a corrective move, right? So it's a B, and then now it's impulsing down in the C leg. So if you get a gap up tomorrow, that's what you have is a 1-2, right? So if you gap up tomorrow, it's probably a short at the open, or when you see a good opportunity in the smaller time frames, and then you should puke down. You should puke down in this wave 3. So that's what this is saying. Okay, all right. I'm getting pretty tired here, but I'm going to continue on. I'm just going to wrap it up probably with oil. So oil hit my short area, and looks like it held up pretty nicely. So now oil should be done in this C leg of this bigger corrective move. And if it is really done, then this thing is going to rip down like you wouldn't believe. And it's a 1-2-1-2 setup, and now it should be a 3 of 3 moment. Right, so maybe it guns it down to like 70, 71, and it's out of control. Who knows what's the reason is going to be? We got some geopolitical events happening in the Middle East. So that's pretty that's pretty bullish for oil, right? Because it would cause supply chain disruptions, and oil is wars are naturally a bullish catalyst for oil, right? So that's interesting. It's interesting how the chart is set up right now versus oil. Okay. All right, so yeah, I mean that's it. That's basically it, guys. Still looks bearish. The markets still look bearish. It's up in the after hours. The futures are pumping. The futures were pumping yesterday too, right? The futures were pumping after this big drop, right? In the after hours, we were dropping. We're down like 1%, and then we gapped up. We pumped up. We were pump. Yes, pump, and then just throughout the day. And that's what bear trends do. You got to sell the rips, right? This is not a bull trend right now. This is a bear trend, a bull trend. Puke down, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Puke down, buy the dip. Now it's sell the rips, right? The game has changed and people are still trying to buy the dip. And maybe this final flush down is going to get them all out. I need to get out. The market is going to crash. Get me out, cash me out. And then we bounce higher. And then they chase it. They chase it to do all-time highs. Oh, it's new all-time highs. I want to get back in. And then it's this. And the X wave or whatever is done, and you puke down. So we'll see. It's not super mega bearish, but it is bearish. All right. So don't get me wrong, guys. This is bearish. All right. Have a good night, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I think I covered everything I needed to cover.